pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I sent out the minutes of the last meeting. Anybody have any corrections or omissions? Can I get a motion to
Look good to me.
accept the minutes?
Somebody here who was here should give that motion.
Okay. All right. Get a second? Okay.
I'll second.
All right, okay. Minutes accepted, okay. All right, go ahead, Chris, you get the fall update?
All right, yeah, so here we are. We can just back up because we didn't have a spring meeting, so
Okay.
we're here now.
Okay,
But we had a kind of a late start this year with, I believe all the marinas were full, but then maybe it took a little while for people's boats to get in. And we went through sending out the mailing list and collecting the waterway user fee early. And we had a pretty busy summer. We had a lot of nice days. It wasn't like last year with a lot of rainy days, busy weekends. The boat ramp was busy, like COVID busy, where we probably had some of the best years with COVID because everybody wanted to get out. So we could start with that. So far, the 88 boat ramp has taken in 18,000.
so state ramp,
Yep,
18,000?
$18,319.
Wow,
Yeah,
For the ramp?
for the ramp.
that is
I
that,
object to the term best years of COVID.
The bed.
What does that mean?
a lot of people went fishing.
A lot of people went. Yeah, there was a lot of social
I don't think
distancing.
there were any good years of COVID.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah.
I agree. State ramp,
The dock and slips, we have $151,587 collected. We did do a round of tagging, and we are still chasing people.
151,000, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And so we did a round of tagging. And so we are making some phone calls right now, getting ready to send out letters for non-payment. So we're
Is
still.
there a percentage? There's a small number or?
It's about average.
Is there any penalty?
Right now, no. The tags that we write are just reminders. We could put a $50 charge on top of that. I would have to look into that a little bit because I don't want to start doing that
Yeah,
without, I don't want to do that illegally. So we want to be able to make sure that we're,
No, but after a year or two, if people aren't sending in their fees,
yeah, oh, absolutely.
something might happen.
Yeah, it's we have the same people sometimes.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, we have the same people, but we have a list going.
is it like 25 or 30 or something like that, or?
Probably closer to 50 at this point in time.
50?
50, yeah.
50 unpaid. Okay.
The private moorings, we collected $7,850. And the rental moorings is at 24.
Those
The
are the
town.
town
Yep,
rental?
is at 2,400. We do have 2 town moorings that are down right now, that we need to get back up again.
Two
I gave a ride up to the bridge, up to one of the town moorings,
Yep,
to some kid. What do they do? Call you up on the phone and say, can we go on the town mooring? How does that work?
was it a sailboat?
Yeah.
That is a private mooring,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
There's one private mooring that was put in before my time in the town moorings.
Yeah.
So are the town moorings, they're not trenching?
Sometimes, but we try to put it towards trips. We get big boats close to the bridge. I'd feel more comfortable with them on a trips transient mooring. Those moorings are good. They're inspected. Gary and I went out there and we took a look at the chains and the swivels and all that, but still, it's just big unknown boats in a location that's close to the bridge.
But a private mooring got slipped
It's a
in?
lot of liability to worry about that.
Yeah.
No, you don't actually want them, I would think.
Yeah.
For $600 a year,
For what?
it's $600 a year for a town mooring. But this is like a rough board in the sense where we don't offer you a parking spot, we don't offer you a place to keep a dinghy or anything like that. These moorings are more for people that live within the area that are able to get to the moorings themselves.
I mean, like down Mascosatch or something?
Down the point, down Mascasatch, somewhere in that.
For $600, hey, I'll rent it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I wouldn't say that that's a moneymaker. I think it's more of a liability than anything, but
And more problematic for the harbor department, right?
Sure.
To pay attention to it.
oh, yeah. I mean, and the whole thing is that we want to rent moorings that have no known defects in them.
Yeah.
Right, but you're not, our harbor
And the
is
car
not
runs
really in
pretty
the
strong.
in the mooring rental business.
Not really. That's not where we're, this harbor, and that's not where we're making a bulk of cash at this point in time.
So for $1,200, why do we do it?
Well, they do come in handy
Okay,
because I always like to keep at least one open for the event of maybe crowding, emergency, crowding at the town dock. A fishing boat in transition might pick it up for a couple of nights or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
as
So-
long as there's a reason.
Oh, yeah, there's a reason, because we'll pick up boats, we don't know the owners, they don't have waterway user stickers, they could have Rhode Island numbers on them or something like that.
Those boats mostly out on the beach.
Oh, on the beach, no, those are, yeah, luckily we didn't have any ghost sailboats show up on the beach
As long as there's a reason.
this far.
Okay, next.
Yeah, we did pick one boat up off the beach this year, though.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah, yeah. But it was something that broke free from trips, so.
Tuck and slip, private mooring, pump out information, or?
The pump out information right now, it's, I think we're probably around about, how many times does the truck come? Probably 5,000 gallons right now.
Put a,
Yeah, like 4,500, about now 4,500, which is low. It was a slow season to start. We didn't really start pumping a lot until August, and even right now it's slack back again. Gary and I go out in the pump boat usually on the Mondays, and we would make our rounds. And I think maybe we had one time where we offloaded twice, which would mean somewhere around 400 gallons for the day. But if boats are an indicator of spending money and time out on the boats, it was a slow season. And we can just look at that.
In that particular job, I wouldn't categorize that as a complaint.
No,
all right.
but other than that, we were able to get a new 200 horse for the 24-foot privateer, which was really nice. The privateer, which wasn't the original Harbor Master boat, but the second Harbor Master boat. The pump out boat was the original Harbor Master boat. So they're both,
A new engine, okay.
yep, which has worked out great. And it was nice to give that boat a facelift because that boat is a good work boat, a good in the river boat, to go out on the busy weekends, to have the two boats out there.
And what kind of motor was that just listed?
The one that was, it was a 200 horse Yamaha that replaced a 200 horse E-Tech.
Okay,
We were able to also buy another 90-horse Yamaha for the pump-out boat. But we were able to just keep the old one running this season, and then on the off-season, we'll be able to put it on and get it going. But it was definitely the oldest outboard in the fleet. I believe that outboard is an old E-Tech from 2006, but it still keeps chugging along, so.
I'm gonna put 90 horsepower, to be installed later,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we're,
Off-season.
off-season this winter when things slow down.
Okay.
But other than that, we had a pretty busy season. We have a full legal pad, and we're 2 full pages. I didn't tally up how many calls, but it's definitely right on par with other years. But we do have towboat that does help out a lot, which is a good thing. Do you have any other questions for this summer, this season?
No, I had a minute's question when we're done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up the fall.
Did those slow no way get put in upriver toward the,
Yes,
they did?
yes. In the area, yeah, north of Hicks Bridge,
Yeah.
heading towards, we'll just say the head and the stone house. There is a blind turn, and talking with, we did have that public hearing, but then it was, I believe, voted down to put it there, but because we're dealing with a blind turn, that we would be able to put that in there. With good success. I've talked to the homeowners that are up there, and they said that it's doing work, so it's keeping everybody slow.
What? The sign,
It's working, yeah.
go figure.
Approximate
Sure doesn't
area,
work on a highway.
approximate area, a landmark, just put something near
Oh, I'm trying to think of the brook, I can't, I'm drawing a blank.
Kirby Brook.
I don't want to misspeak, because I'm not sure if it's Kirby Brook, but,
Right, I'll,
yeah, we'll look up.
okay.
I heard
I'll
of,
look it up.
No, I don't-
one or two.
It was around Kirby.
Oh, Kirby Brook, yeah, yeah.
And I know you have limited manpower and time and stuff. One time this summer, I was over to Bristol.
Mhm.
I'll just put north of Hicks Bridge at approximate
Kirby Brook area, yeah.
I went sailing with a friend, and there was a harbor master boat going like this all day.
Yep,
There've been a couple of days when we needed that, you know, say from trips
mm-hmm,
to the mouth.
sure. I mean, we did have weekend patrols that were out
I
there.
think, because I mean, I'm gonna not deny what I say
Sure.
as soon as I've said it, but I throw a wake too sometimes when I'm late and in a hurry.
Mm-hmm,
But a presence from the harbor, you know you have to slow down.
high visibility,
Hmm?
high visibility,
Visibility makes a big difference.
sure.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And, you know, there are multiple ways.
I think there's some people who just don't understand, unfortunately.
Yeah.
yeah.
When my wife's on a boat, she'll say, yell it, slow down.
Oh, yeah, we can always commission Doug Murphy to do the yelling and slow down.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry, next.
Oh, that's great.
all right.
The, anything else that you want to know, any other update of the seasonal updates any other questions? No? Okay. Well, moving along, we can
Federal channel.
do a federal channel update.
Oh, I guess, how about the staff? Did you feel like your staff this summer was sufficient?
I'm always looking for more staff. I was going through the appointment process of people that have been appointed, and I think there was probably 5 or 6 younger people to come in, and everybody wants to come and be the harbor master for 1 season, and then that's pretty much it. Maybe it's not what people expect. I don't know if they're expecting that it's going to be high action Baywatch type of stuff, which does happen at times. I mean, that there are things.
Rescues.
I mean, we had, what was it, unruly kiteboarders that were buzzing the town beach. And I got a call from the police department and went out there and was able to talk to them about kiteboarding in a swimming area, which is not a good idea.
No.
But that being said, it would be nice to pick up a few new people next year. So I'm already trying to put the feelers out to get somebody that would be interested. We did have Bill Chase, which was our newest hire, and Bill was a captain. He started fishing out of Westport in the 70s, had a full career and all over the world, up in Alaska, and now he's back here in his retirement, and he's been really successful. So somebody like that has the knowledge, the local knowledge, to go out there and to help out and make a difference. I mean, Jimmy Perry has done a good job in the East Branch, because that's kind of the Wild West sometimes. He's also done a good job ticketing at the 88 boat ramp, which maybe these numbers from the boat ramp are directly related to the amount of tickets that were written there.
That gets ugly when it
That's
gets
Jimmy
crowded.
Carey,
Jim Perry,
Jim Perry.
yeah, he's been,
He quit.
no, he's still working, yeah. No, he's been on, oh geez, for 30 years or more. But yeah, it's the dedication, but it's tough to give somebody the keys to a $142,000 boat and say, hey, have at it. Don't break anything, and come back safe and, go out there and be a steward for the department. Which sometimes things can get heated. You don't want to have a screaming match with a family, but it happens, so.
Okay. New staffing.
So we can talk about the federal channel. We have, or not we, but there was an awarding bid to dredge the Westport Channel. I believe the full number was 3.2 million. And that was awarded to
Yeah, it's in the paper.
Land Remediation.
What?
The name of the company is Land Remediation. They're out of Waterford, New York. And the point person that I've been dealing with, his name is Zach. And he is working with the Army Corps of Engineers, with the town of Westport, with the Coast Guard, just trying to facilitate a smooth transition to this project.
What was the first name? Land
Remediation.
Landra?
No, land
Land
and then remediation.
remediation, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there are a couple areas that, in particular, that are going to get dredged. The overall amount of sand to be removed would be 70,000 cubic yards. And they are gonna do that with an automated mechanical clamshell dredge with a 170-foot barge.
Where's the stuff gonna go?
This is going to go, the Army Corps is going to put it off the beach near the campground.
So,
That's if we buy-
does the, I mean, I don't know what you call people who study water flows.
Hydrol-
but- What?
a hydrologist?
A hydrologist? Has there had anybody like that in there? Does the Army Corps send that in?
I would hope so.
I mean, I've only been,
right?
I would hope so. That's,
I've only been here, well, not even 20 years, but
Mhm.
just watching the harbor year in and year out. What year was it when they dredged over by Spindle Rock?
I would say that was a good 20 years ago.
20?
Yeah.
Is that the life expectancy of a dredge? A harbor dredge? What is the life?
I think it depends. I mean, there's a lot of geographical factors that would,
Because as I've watched, and we've talked about it, and everybody seems to agree that that breakwater is a critical part of the harbor filling in, and nobody wants to touch it. I
the,
mean, the idea that this year, that there's an island through high and low tide
oh, yeah,
that wasn't there last year is just, it makes you wonder.
I mean,
And then they're going back to the channel that filled in the first place. I hope, they kind of like,
I mean, as a federal channel.
Oh, I
mean,
understand.
That's their business. I mean, I don't want to add too many questions, because what would happen if the natural channel that's marked within the river gets clogged? We're just saying the private aids to navigation that we put in, East Branch, West Branch, that the Harbor Department puts in, if that gets sanded in, I think the town would be responsible for that
right.
at that point in time. At this, it's a whole other animal being a federal channel.
How many? It was only a year or two that 12 to 20 became operable.
Yes,
Okay, so the effective length duration was like 18 years.
Approximately.
And getting shallower.
and getting shallower. I mean, we've talked before about how they've done explosive work in the federal channel that is just, we'll call it a paper channel at this point in time.
The what?
The federal channel that is there, I would just call it a paper channel at this point in time.
Paper
Paper in the sense where it's marked on a chart,
chart, okay.
but it's not anywhere near usable. It's not a usable thing.
No,
Yeah. And we did get, there's some questions that say, well, why wouldn't we just dredge the channel that was naturally formed now? You're not guaranteed to go down 9 feet, 200 feet across
Yeah.
and get that.
I see, okay.
And so that's where the rub would be, because you would say,
So that they,
Because
so
you're
that
gonna
they,
hit ledge or something.
so that they can't do it.
yeah,
There might be some reason.
I think you would be,
I mean, the 12 to 21 seems pretty unreliable. I mean, I stopped using it. I go on the west side of the cams.
oh, sure.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean,
even-
yeah, it's-
Even what was marked in the spring
Moved,
moved.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're,
that sand tongue was just moving
So
out,
is there
out,
anything from
more and more west.
Army Corps? I mean, it seems sudden, if you will. The-
what seems sudden?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the change in the channel seems sudden. Is the Army Corps aware of what's been going on, or did they just say, well, there it is on the map, let's dredge it?
I think that's what we're dealing with.
Okay.
We're dealing with we're dealing with a maintenance of an existing channel that had explosive work done, that they know is live sand. Explosive work where they had to go in and blast
Okay.
some areas.
So
in
the
there.
reason you go back there
The reason you're going back there is
is
because
because they know they can go to 9 feet.
the works,
Whereas 12 to 20, you might hit some rock. Gotcha.
who knows,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, at least that makes sense.
Now, is it gonna dump it off the campground beach? Is that,
Yeah, so it can
Let's-
come back.
discussion that,
Well, I believe that the thinking on that is that they want to keep it within the system. I mean, and this would be the Army Corps.
Yeah.
This is the Army Corps.
because I remember when we had the meeting with the select board, and they were asking all those questions about putting it on East Beach or other places, and the representative said that that would be, they could be requested, or other areas could be, get on the list to get dredged material
I haven't tested,
from other, not this one, but,
right.
you know.
I haven't tested the water, but in the new channel, the first none, just to the north of that, north and east,
Mhm.
is pretty shoal.
Oh, absolutely.
Uh,
It was high and dry earlier in the spring, and then they moved it, and it's still very close. And if,
I mean, I don't draw very much, so you can't go on
no,
the side of that.
we were out mapping yesterday for the tug that draws 9 feet.
Oh.
And we had to go west of that 17.
Yeah, they can, yeah.
Yep. That, I
Yeah.
feel like that should have just
I was
been
sailing out of
deleted, but
the river, and I was like, wow,
How are you doing? What do you draw? You must draw
4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, 5 feet.
fine.
And, you know, I
Five would
would have
make-
run aground staying in that alternate channel, that's for sure.
So why, I mean, you know, on not beating dead horses, we don't need to go on with this, but it seems to me interesting that it shoals by that none.
in that area.
Didn't used to be there.
Yeah, the sand is just, it's growing.
I mean, we can look back to 20 years ago when they dredged, and where did they put the sand? On the town beach.
I guess if they do it
Probably
every,
should wash it back in.
I guess if they do it every 20 years, that's what, that's good.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see. Ultimately, it's up to the Army Corps and what they want to do. I'm not sure what the last dredging cost the town. But at this one, the cost of the town is nil. And it's something that we could say, Mother Nature is going to do the right thing and keep this the auxiliary natural form channel, I'll call it, in good working order for the people of Westport. Or we can say we have this project and we are able to make our federal channel back to where it was, and we're putting the sand further away. And we're just looking at big shapes and colors at this point in time.
Start date, potential?
Next Tuesday,
Really?
yes.
Oh, it's begin, okay.
If everything goes well. The barge and the equipment is in New Bedford, so if they have a nice day to bring it over here.
Tomorrow's supposed to be awesome.
We've had stretches of weather in the past 2 weeks that are
Crazy.
stunner. Yeah.
So anyway, did they look at what the impact of repairing the breakwater would be in terms of lengthening the time when the dredging would hold out?
No, that's a whole other thing where that jetty was put in by the Department of War.
No kidding.
Yes. Originally.
That was a long time ago when they called it that.
This,
Department of War.
was that before diesel? What,
Steve?
steam? So this is, I mean, this is my 2 cents on the whole thing. if when the Department of War was a thing, and they thought that it would be a good idea to either use steam or horses to put this in, because they thought it was a good idea, do you think it's a good idea to go through all of that, labor?
I don't know much about the water movement, but I was just wondering if it might help, it might hurt.
This is the thing,
Somebody put it in for a reason.
it opens up the whole thing about, the Causeway to Gooseberry, helping or hurting.
Well, it does seem as though that the distance between the rocks and the sand keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
Well, next.
Well, when we were trying to get something done for Westport to open up the channel, because there was a year that people were just running aground, and there was no recourse other than myself making a phone call to Bristol Yates Navigation to say, can we at least mark good water? Because we have federal channel markers that are running people aground. Of course, there's a notice to mariners, but tell that to the boat that's coming from Connecticut that's just out for a good time, wants to check out Westport.
Do you
So,
think there's been any follow-on effect from the channel showing up in terms of foreigners visiting Westport?
yes. There are boat rental companies out of Newport that will not allow sailboats from their rental company to come into Westport.
Really?
Yep. So there's, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, between that, the big thing is the commercial fishing fleet, the 1,000 feet of commercial boats that cannot come and go as they please, they had to plan the tide to leave, to come, time at sea, waiting around for the tide. It's,
It costed them money.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
When, they're supposed to start October 8th or approximately next Tuesday,
Mhm.
based on weather. When are they gonna wrap up? Are they,
They're supposed
is there
to,
a time frame
they're supposed to
in
wrap up,
December, or-
yeah, December 31st. There could be an extension possibly to January 15th. There could be an extension beyond that, but that would be with, I believe, winter flounder migration, and they would have to go before the Division of Marine Fisheries to see what kind of extension that they could get.
So they may not get the whole thing done. Is that,
I mean, anything's possible. That is a
It's,
possibility.
I mean, that's all in place. They expect to get it done if the weather holds.
well, yeah.
If the
So,
weather
it would
doesn't,
be
then they go.
December, yeah.
But while we were making phone calls, I mean, to our local representatives, all the way up to Congressman Keating, talking to Congressman Keating's assistant, we did mention the jetty and the possibility of trying to find money to do a study on that, to see whether the jetty would help or hurt, who would do the study. I mean, of course, the Army Corps would probably get involved with the study of that also.
I thought there was a study just to look at the causeway. What's the
that's-
what's the status of that? Did that ever come out?
I'm
I
not,
thought it was with the Buzzards Bay.
I'm not sure where that is
I
right
don't
now, but
recall,
I do remember hearing about that. I just don't know what plan of that is moving forward. I don't know. But it's something that also needs to be taken a look. It's a whole other part where if you're allowing ocean swell to enter the Westport River, the wavelengths of the swell are going to carry particles of sand in the
And
wave, within the wavelength.
And the
So,
more distance you give them, the more they'll crawl around and carry sand. You know.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a conveyor belt through swell entering the river. I mean, that's what you want to call it.
Bring back 12 to 20, I really like
That's-
it.
And I'm just gonna put wrapping up late December or early January.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, well, knock on wood, I mean, it seems like they are going to be working around the clock.
oh,
I hope that this is going to be, I mean, the tugboat has a crew of 5. along with everybody here. I mean, it's a major project that they have a timeline that they need to get
Trying to
done.
get it done,
Why go home at
yeah.
night?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Make the money.
oh, sure.
All right.
Okay,
Okay, anything else? Any other business?
I could just say that I put in for a feasibility study to be done at the Westport Town Dock through the Seaport Grant. And we want to know, because the town dock has gone underwater 3 times in the past 2 years from unnamed storms,
Feasibility study for the town dock, okay.
yeah, to say, what are we looking at for a environmental engineer to see if the town dock would need to be raised for a future cast of the next 100 years. And also, we want to know, with this feasibility study, the condition of the town dock, all of its buildings, all of its bulkheads, the ramps, the pier connectors. We want to take a look at everything because we don't want to build something, we don't want to build a castle in the sand. So we want to know, as the first step in moving forward, because the town dock had a facelift in the year 2000, it's now 24 years later. And, I mean, there's constant repairs with dock planking and the floating docks and the bulkheads, and Chris Gonzalez was able to repair the end of the main dock on southwestern corner, and was able to come in there and do a repair, because we had kind of a roller coaster happening with cement, and we were able to go there, get all the bad stuff out, lay down wire and concrete and fix it. But we want to know what we're dealing with, what the bones look like of the town dock, to continue moving forward after this feasibility study, hopefully, to say if we could still continue to put in for the Seaport Grant to then have steps of a project to raise this up. There's also an electrical system that's there. There's a lot of things that need to be taken a look at from a professional to say,
Trips has started, the new steps, the new bottom steps that they put in are way higher than the old bottom steps.
yeah. And Trips did work to bulkheads there too, I remember. Trips was doing bulkhead
Yeah.
work and things like that. So it's just kind of future casting that we know that the town dock is going underwater.
Do the best you can, but I think sometimes some of this climate stuff is gonna happen suddenly. Anyway, what, if I may, how is Ed Carey? And what are we looking for people? What's the status of this committee?
Do you want to talk about it, or I can?
Yeah,
Give my
I
2
think,
cents.
I think we should send a letter to the selectmen that, the untimely passing of John Borden and Ed Carey's tragic, motorcycle accident. I mean, I don't know if and when he might be able to attend again, but he said he would come tonight if needed. So, but certainly to look at what is needed to replace, the member, the open seat from John Borden, so I think that's,
Yeah, I think that's the only issue, unless we hear differently from Ed.
Yeah.
So I know that Ed was willing to come, but I said, I just said, stay home and recuperate,
oh, yeah.
And hopefully he'll be able to attend. in the
So let's
future.
form a committee to find somebody. I appoint Chris.
Well, I mean, we can talk with Jim Hartnett,
Can you be on it?
no,
You can't.
no,
Is there,
no, you're here to grill me.
what?
You're here to grill me.
So, I
No,
mean,
is
you
that
know,
by, is that, what is that by? Is that by custom or by law or?
I think the committee is there to keep the department heads in check. And if the department head is then part of the committee, that could be a problem.
Nice try. I think the committee is here to work together to come up with solutions
well,
to common problems.
I think, we're here to work together, but, I mean, a way that I could describe it is that I'm a lawyer and you're a lawyer, and we're fighting our cases. Ultimately, that would then go before the ruling body, which would be the select board.
you know,
Nice,
I mean,
nice.
Something like that.
Nice try again.
Something like that, no, I don't.
it's just a matter of, do they want to wait for the annual appointments, or are they going to?
Oh, I'm having too much fun trying to get Chris to be
The
on.
selectmen, and we serve at the, you know, the purview of the selectmen, so.
So, yeah, let's toss it up to the selectmen, tell them we need somebody.
Yeah,
I bet
There's
if
a
you
lot
look,
of open seats on the board, so.
That's-
I mean,
yeah.
you know,
and of course, we'll all
They
have
have
to
to
be,
struggle along.
people without memories will have to be aware of that.
Yeah.
I think just going back to the dredging and things like that, I did reach out to Josh at Trips, just because we're trying to make this project go as smoothly as possible. If the coordinates come back, and we do have moorings, spindle rock moorings, private moorings,
That they dig up.
that might be in the way of this project, that we want to make sure that, A, we have a barge that is able to come and move the moorings,
Trip has that, don't they?
yes, and that it would be available, because we don't want the project to be delayed
Because of that.
for something like that,
I'm sure they-
But
I'm sure
Josh
they-
at Trips will move whatever moorings.
whatever moorings that we need.
Move moorings.
If we're almost done, can I ask a minute question?
I think I'm there.
Town requested what fees we could raise. None of their business, is it?
For a fee hearing
I mean, as I
within the town of
understood it,
Westport, yeah.
I mean, how is it their business if we're an enterprise zone? We have to pay for services. They could have said, we're gonna have to charge you more for town hall services. They didn't. What's that about?
I think are we, I mean, because there's a couple of things that we talked about that. It's keeping up with inflation. It's keeping up with the budget in which the enterprise is put forth every fiscal year.
But that's the harbor.
That's the harbor. It's the harbor business, yes. But we have to plan ahead, because we try to have the enterprise as more or less a break-even, level-funded thing.
Okay, let me rephrase. Why are they asking us to raise fees?
I think that they were having a fee hearing, and for the sake of not piecemealing fee
They
raising,
asked all,
You mean if we were going to do it, what were we?
that they would want to put it all on one agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, and for that. I mean, the other thing that we were talking about is the indirect costs that the enterprise does pay.
Right.
I believe that figure was $55,000 for indirect costs, but that could be argued. It could be argued, but,
No, I wasn't suggesting.
I mean, not for us. It would be the enterprise fund arguing and taking a look at the percentages for each department that the enterprise fund would have to pay,
Bookkeeping and blah, blah, blah.
and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, there is things too where we say we get a call from the police department, the fire department, and then we respond. without a charge back to the town. I don't, if that's something that
And this
you'd want to investigate.
this
Um,
inflation stuff, the government is always very cute about inflation. You have a $10 item, 10% inflation, now it's $11. And they said next year, they say, oh, everything's wonderful, it's only 3% inflation. Well, that means the price is $11.30, not $10.
It's with every budget,
What?
It goes up every year.
Yeah,
with every budget that moves forward for non-union people, non-union salaried people, there's a 3% raise every year. So that's something that's unavoidable, on top of the price of, I haven't even looked at slow and awake buoys right now, because I'm still sitting on, I think, a half dozen.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what a six-pack of those is gonna cost, and it's probably gonna be about $3,000 or more.
3% is nothing when you have 10% inflation.
Yeah.
All right.
Very good, motion to
Right,
go home.
I want to set the time for the next meeting. Do we think we can meet late November, the week before? At least we'll know some dredge information
Yeah,
and wrapping up on the Wednesday, the 20th?
When?
Wednesday, the November 20th. That's a week before Thanksgiving.
I'll need multiple reminders.
I'll send you text.
Thank you.
Is that okay?
Actually,
The time?
actually, that's a good idea. Let me give you my cell phone, because
Do I have it? I'm gonna look at, all right, I'm gonna just put down at 5:30 PM, November 20th.
5:30, okay.
And then I'm gonna look at your, I'll confer off camera. Okay, because he's being
Oh, okay.
filmed, okay, I
oh,
understand.
yeah, you mean, oh, you're right. Good idea.
Yeah. Okay. Meeting adjourned. A motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.